Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. As you probably know, there was a missile attack on some prisoners of war, Ukrainian prisoners of war, POWs, from the Azovstal steel plant. Possibly they say that there were some Azov battalion POWs, and the Russians say no, it was the Ukrainian who used HIMARS long-range missile launching systems, and they destroyed this location where we had the prisoners, and 53 died and 75 injured, and about 13 guards injured as well. And here is the blaming game between the Russians and the Ukrainians. The Russians say, yeah, we report what happened. And then the Ukrainians said, no, actually it wasn't us, it was the Russians. And they start bringing arguments and counter-arguments why they think it was the other side. I made a video regarding with these accusations, but now some more accusations and evidence came into light. And this comes from the Ukrainian services, intelligence services, and see what they say. So, this article comes from Ukrainska Pravda from July 29, 2022, and it's 10:02 a.m. this article, okay? Remember, 10:02 a.m. And this is the title: Explosion in the Olenivka penal colony planned and executed by, keywords, Russian Federation. Conversation intercepted by SSU. So explosion over there in a penal colony planned and executed by the Russian Federation, okay? Russian army. Conversation intercepted. The Security Service of Ukraine, SSU, has intercepted telephone conversations in which Russian occupiers confirmed that Russian troops were responsible for the explosion in the occupied Olenivka colony, which killed at least 53 Ukrainian prisoners. Source, SSU. Quote from SSU, and I'm quoting: the security services of Ukraine intercepted telephone conversation in which the occupiers confirm that Russian troops are to blame for this tragedy. Thus, even the militants of the so-called DPR, self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic, do not believe the lies of Russian propaganda that the shelling of the correctional facility institutions in Olenivka were implemented by Ukraine. Moreover, the SSU has several such audio recordings at its disposal. All of them will be included as evidence in the relevant criminal proceedings. The Ukrainian Special Services has already opened the criminal proceeding under Article 438 of the Criminal Code, violation of the laws and customs of war. Details. According to the SSU, taking into account the conversations of the militants, the Russians could have caused the tragedy due to explosives that they placed in the premises of the colony. No eyewitnesses heard any rocket flying towards the correctional institution. There were no characteristic whistling, and the explosions occurred independently at first. And I'm quoting, the conversations. Remember, we're going to talk about the conversations. The conversations intercepted by the SSU confirm that Russian soldiers placed the Grad system near the correctional facility and started firing with them on the territory controlled by Ukraine. However, no shelling was observed in response. This is confirmed by the DPR fighters themselves, the security services said. The Special Services also added that taking into account the video available on the network, the windows in some rooms of the colony were completely preserved. This indicates that the epicenter of the explosion was inside the destroyed building, and its walls absorbed the blast waves, saving the neighboring premises. Also, a preliminary analysis of the video shows that such traces of the explosion on the walls most likely remained due to the internal sources of the explosion. In general, I'm quoting, there is plenty of evidence that the armed forces of Ukraine did not launch missile and artillery strikes in the area of Olenivka. Therefore, all statements of Russian propaganda about alleged shelling by the armed forces of Ukraine are outright lies and provocation, the SSU emphasized. And background. On the morning of 29 July, Russian media reported that shelling of the colony in Olenivka, Donetsk Oblast, where Ukrainian prisoners of war are held. Propagandists claimed that at least 53 prisoners were killed. Ukrainska Pravda sources emphasize that the strike against Ukrainians was conducted by Russia. Units of the Azov regiment announced a hunt for all those involved in the mass murder of Ukrainian prisoners of war in Olenivka on 29 of July. And they said they will exterminate all that. I made a video on that one. The General Staff of Ukraine reports that Russia shelled the penal colony in Olenivka, Donetsk Oblast, to cover up the torture and murder of Ukrainian prisoners of war, as well as to accuse the armed forces of Ukraine of committing war crimes. Okay, so they got the evidence. The evidence, they say, the hard evidence is mostly Russians communicating with other Russians. So that's what they have. Now, if I tell this to a teenager, the teenager will believe me, because that teenager will not question, wait a second, who made those audio recordings? Do you think they really tap into their conversation with the Russians? That would be the first question. And there would be certainly, yes, of course. Okay, how? How do you know that's the case? How do you know that those tapes that these guys are talking about are those guys, are the Russians? If you think that I'm exaggerating, or I'm, somehow going into certain conspiracy theories and something, I am not going in the conspiracy theories. I'm going straight to facts, because these kind of things are the job of the intelligence community wherever they are. KGB, FBI, CIA, MI6, that's what they do. Intelligence community, they have a department that creates these kind of things to blame the other ones. You don't believe me? That's fine. I have no evidence that this is authentic conversation between the Russians or not. It's just what these guys are saying, and I don't believe anything what these guys are saying. First, they are in a war. Second, it's the intelligence services of a country that is blamed for something, and they hit back. So these are two things that, for me, third, if you want to go third, this is what they do. Why do you think that they're just over there to inform? They have departments of misinformation, disinformation, creating problems, social problems, unrest in other countries. They have department. Every country has it. It has this kind of things. For me, that's zero. When they say we heard it's a conversation, I personally do not get that one. Now, the other evidence regarding the blown windows and all that, I made a video with a picture from Ukraine, provided by the Ukrainians, where there were 3 cars in a street, upside down, inside out, and all that. And there were some windows, that had immaculate windows. They were not broken. Next to the cars that were upside down and the explosions and whatever was over there. So again, people, armies do this. I'm not trying to, the fact is those guys died. Now, who did it? I don't know if we're going to find out or not, but after this I will make another video where I will tell you what the Ukrainians, what the story Ukrainians say about this. So remember, in this article, in this video, article that I read was Russian Army, Russian Federation. Okay? Now remember that these two keywords I'm going to use in the next video. And you're going to see that it's totally someone else now. So which one is it? And remember, they had the conversations. And in the article I'm going to discuss in the next video, where are the conversations? I see you in my next video. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.